There we go. We good.
You want to close that door? Leave it open? Just get them in.
Tom, you want to close the doors? Big reveal. All right, welcome. We're going to go ahead and get started here. Thank you very much for coming. We have parents here, alumni from at least 4 years ago, administrators, Board of Ed. There's a lot of people that we need to thank today. First of all, this all also wouldn't be possible without some incredible effort from our technology department. This is a brand new lab that we were able to put together this year with all new workstations. So special thanks to Roseanne Moran and her team. Our highlight project is our arcade, but we have a number of other projects that we wanted to showcase today. In the middle of the room, we have a bunch of senior showcases with photography, graphic design, animation, some stop motion animation. Over here, we have a creative space that they developed, which I'll explain in a little bit. And then I'll ultimately review what they've been working on for 2 years now. So before I do that, we are the Digital Creative. And what the Digital Creative is it's a collection of 3 different courses. And those courses are Creative Design 1, 2, and 3. The projects here today are all senior design projects. Those students are all in Creative Design Level 3. As they are about ready to graduate, this is their best of the best. They're about ready to take a Adobe certification exam next week, which will certify them in Adobe software, such as Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign. And then moving forward, there's a very, very large percentage of students here today that are pursuing a career in a creative field like this. Any alumni here may not recognize that name, Creative Design, because we just officially changed the name of our courses as well. It used to be Computer Graphics, and we thought that was becoming a little outdated for the vast amount of things we do in here. So that is the reason for the name change. In our classes, we cover everything from graphic design to photography to animation to illustration. We get into 3D modeling, a little bit of user interface design. And that opens the doors to a plethora of creative careers in a lot of different industries. I personally feel that when students leave this class, they have a leg up, and I've heard the same from a lot of students that are starting to come back and visit us with some of the things they've accomplished. In our Graphics 3 classes, we have started something called the Studio, and what that is we do a lot of work for the community and for school clubs and activities, and a lot of design work and photography. We have Heather Papa and Brandon Hernandez that did a lot of work for the Old Bridge Chamber of Commerce and photographed their banquet they had a few months ago. Brandon Hernandez worked with me personally, along with Sean Kozak and a few other students, I'm not sure if they're here, photographing football games, and we were responsible for capturing every single game, but even more than that, they experienced what it's like to have to post-process thousands and thousands of pictures. So they experience life as a professional photographer. Our senior design showcase, like I said, is mainly centered down these aisles. We had a few different things this year that we wanted to highlight today. First is our creative space design. So when we're done here, I encourage everybody to just kind of go explore the lab. Over here, we have a creative space. And this actually started probably about 4 years ago. And you see a large vector on the wall. And that was actually because we underwent a marketing project, and we needed to build enrollment for what we try to do here. So one of the things that those students came up with is to create our own branding and to create almost like a mascot that students can identify with. We wanted to do something alternative to a night, since we're a little bit overwhelmed with everything else, and we wanted to make sure it was related to what we do here. So there's a little blurb on the wall that will kind of talk about who Vector is, and it relates to what we do in here. And it has been a very, very effective tool, because I hear all the time from guidance counselors in the grade 9 center that students are asking for the course with the bulldog. So it has been an effective marketing tool. But on top of that, we have a creative space that was designed as a team learning center, so that we can have smaller group of students to either work as a smaller group, but we needed a way to divide it out and kind of separate from the room. So with the help of Miss G and her fabulous mind, we came up with the idea of tree branch dividers. We went for a hike, gathered a bunch of branches, and they built these dividers that are illuminated with LEDs and filled with rocks that divided up the space really nice. Those are all color changing, which will be connected to our smart lab. Our smart lab, I'll get the photo view. Our smart lab was developed all from essentially mounted iPad, which you can control music in the room, the volume. They can request music from their own devices. You can control the color of the lighting in the room. And over on the side of the room, you'll notice that the lights are changing. But this began a platform for us to do a number of interesting things. One of the things that we have the ability to do is to actually build what are called recipes. So for instance, every time a bell rings, they can flash red lights. Every time there's a chance for rain, maybe a little bit blink blue. It's really endless what you can do with it. So it opens the door for the future classes now to develop it and try to tie it into what we try to accomplish here. We don't want this to be a normal, boring classroom. We want this to be a creative space, as if you were working at an ad agency or a company like Facebook or Google, which is why I have students that built a basketball hoop. So when they're in the middle of a brainstorming project, I don't mind if they go shoot hoop for a little while. And lastly, and I skipped over this one, but this is a vital part to our success this year, is this little black box over here. This is a fully automated photo booth. And this was started again last year with some seniors that I think I see here today. And what it is you can have a bunch of different options. You can have, first of all, it requires no interaction at all from a worker. So you can walk right up to it, hit the screen, and it will completely perform automatically, so that it will either email you a picture or a photo strip, it can email you an animated GIF, or we can set it up with the option where it prints out the classic photo strips. The reason this has been a vital tool for us is because we have started to rent this out. And through renting it out to either former students or the community, it helped us generate funding for major projects like this. And we wouldn't have been able to do it without these ideas that our students have come up with over these past few years. And the last thing I just wanted to mention real quickly is we have a display over here. We launched an online communications platform. One of the trade-offs we've had was with a 40-minute short high school period with 2 different advanced level 3 classes, we needed to be able to way to communicate a little bit easier. So what Slack does is it's originally built for businesses, and we tailored it to the needs of a high school. And we can instantly communicate with one another, we can share files with one another, and me personally, I've never felt more connected to this group of students because of it. It could be 8 o'clock on a Sunday night, and they might have a question about what they need to do for tomorrow, and through the app on my phone, it's just a quick pop-up. And it has built-in security features and a way to make it high school appropriate. So through desktop apps and through apps on their phone, it was a way for us to combine different periods into one family. So you can check that over there. This brings us to our arcade. So for our arcade, I don't want to do all the talking today. I wanted to turn it over to first Zach Fagaro. Where are you at?
All right. So our goal with our arcade machine was to produce and design something that was a great gaming system for everyone, and it was something that was the gaming before our own time and some of our own current times. And we've done everything from brainstorming and research to the design, the building, and the coding. And all this together has made this.
I'd like to also welcome Tom Benavisi, who is another one of our project managers and was in charge of a lot of our electronics in it.
So what we wanted to do was make something that everyone can play, no matter what they wanted to play. So we have standard arcade games, and we have all the way up to GameCube games, so that anyone can play whatever they wanted, and even with music with an integrated Spotify app. So I like to say, this is what we created.
All right, so it features over 200 games. It has a internet connection. I'll get to that. A number of different systems on it, and it has Spotify integration so that we can build custom playlists. Right now we center only the 80s because that's what we try to throw back to, and that's kind of what this is paying homage to. And what's brilliant about this is our master coder, Joe Goldberg right here, has written code from the ground up. Of being able to control a number of different video game systems and Spotify integration, he designed coding from the ground up so that you can control everything together. We'll do a demo in a little bit with you, but for instance, being able to control Spotify and the music through arcade joysticks and buttons and no keyboard or mouse was a major undertaking. It was no problem for Joe. Things that we thought would be a major problem for us, Joe was able to handle without too much of an issue, and it's stuff beyond me. I don't know how he does it. So it's really impressive stuff. Before we demo it, I want to introduce Nick Bravalos, our lead designer and 3D modeler.
So, just let me say really quick, this is easily the coolest project I've ever been involved with in high school ever. And we really started it with the whole models and ideas of how it would really look through using Google SketchUp and 3D modeling through that. If you look up there, we actually have some pictures of what the 3D model looked like online, or on Google SketchUp. We used a internal reinforcement frame that we could hide all the nooks and crannies, make it look really nice in the end, not have anything sticking out, and honestly I think it turned out great.
We had the opportunity to work with a local professional artist as well. So all the major artwork you see on the side panels of this were conceptualized by a local artist, Chris Ernst. He's a personal friend of mine, and I've seen what he's capable of. So it's given us an opportunity for students to work with the local professional artists. Chris was able to sketch out the side panels, and then we brought those sketches in, and we're estimating somewhere probably around 60 hours worth of hand painting that was involved in the panels. In order to tie the two panels together, we designed the front panel as well, which when you walk around it, you'll see it all kind of ties the graphics together. with Joe, I'd like to introduce, is that order? Let me introduce our team first. When I call your name, stay up here so everyone can see it. So Joe, come on up. This is our main computer engineer. John Canavesi, our electronics. Nick Karabulos, our lead designer. Charlie Fries for graphic design. Zach Figaro for art and design. Ryan Martinez, art and design. John Rubina, art and design. Motley, art and design. And James Kurtzman, art and design. There's a number of other students and classes that help with this, but these are our 10 core students that have dedicated over a year, almost 2 years in what you see here today. So with all this, I would now like to show you a demo.
So what are we doing?
I'll take one of the soccer.
There we go. So as you can see, we have a custom graphic that they overlaid so that as you scroll left or right, it will switch to the different system it's on. Go ahead, launch it. You'll also notice that the logo changed colors because that's synced to whatever game is playing. He designed a custom start screen as well, so that as you launch a game, you're not going to really know what controls are what. So he was able to, for each game, map out certain controls and then show that there. Classics. The best ones. So at this point, I'd like to invite you guys to try it out. Go explore the room. You can see our senior design projects in the center here. Here's our creative space, and enjoy it. Thank you very much for coming. There's some refreshments over the side too for you.
This is like the coolest thing I've ever seen. I should cry. Yeah, he pulled the thing off.
Let's go.
Dude, I didn't use it. You helped me. Yeah, that was the hard part. You know, yeah. It was quite to mess up, you know. We worked with it.
There's so many great things.
I like that one. The lands that we did on one thing. Oh, that's like a really cool, like, awesome job. So cool. Yeah. I was telling everyone earlier, so there's another artist I work with. Have you ever heard of glitch art? So it's like taking a JPEG and changing the code around so that like one image may get duplicated a couple different times and there might be like a couple different color variations of it. So the idea of the show is it's going to be like classic hip-hop artists with like video game characters as the hip-hop artists or whoever's featured on the cover. And I'll do like a painted version of it, and then he'll do a glitch art version. But as part of it, we want to do like installation. And so we're hoping to use our arcade machine as like a part of the installation. So hopefully it probably won't be this year, but hopefully in 2018 we'll have the opportunity to showcase it as part of like the are you gonna see? Yeah. Congratulations. It's very exciting. You guys did awesome. And I was like, when I saw it, I was like, it was like so dope. And when Adrian asked me, I was like, listen, I was like, I'm kind of busy and I know that you guys want to come up with this too. So I was like, I can help you all design it.
Because of Sandy, they qualified for
Yeah, I know.
government grant.
But you did a fantastic job.
Sandy, they
Oh, yeah.
so many classes, other classes.